All right, everybody. It's finally time to talk about one more time part two. Now, I had recorded a video talking about no fun and all in my head, but that was right when I noticed that I was having some serious audio issues, and so I didn't want to put it out. And I figured, I'll just do it once the full album drops, and I don't know. It's kind of giving me more time to really digest the songs a little bit more anyway. So I feel like it's just better overall that I waited a little bit. But I'm going to break this down a little bit, by song, I guess. So the first one I want to talk about is "No Fun." I believe it was the first song I heard out of the 8 new songs, and I'm glad that it was the intro because it kind of has that long, drawn-out intro to it, and it felt like a good transition into part 2 from, the regular part 1. And I don't know. I like the song a lot. I think it's one of the stronger songs on part 2, and I would have loved this song on part 1. To be honest, I think it belongs on part 1. If I was gonna, trim the fat of 1 and 2 and just make like one really good album, I would probably put this song on there. I think it's fun. I think it's got a good guitar riff. Some people are complaining that it's, recycled from, Lemmings or Reckless Abandon or whatever. And, that's true to an extent. I mean, bands and just musicians in general, they always recycle stuff because you are comfortable in certain keys or, using certain little tricks, and it shouldn't be all that surprising. I mean, look at what Tom's done over the last 30 years. I mean, he recycles a bit every now and then, but at least in like this aspect, the rest of the song is pretty different. So I feel like that part doesn't really sound exactly like one of those other parts because those songs as a whole were just different types of songs. But I don't know, you can't please everybody, I guess. It's still fun to play. I think it's cool. There were some people that were talking about the intro of the song, saying that it sounded like the beginning of All American Rejects, the last song, and I fully agree with that. I do think Blink made it their own, but yeah, there were definitely some similarities there. I was a big fan of that record when it came out, especially that song. I still like that song. Not that I really listen to that band much anymore, but that's one of the few tracks that I will still listen to. But yeah, overall, I think it's a good song. I think that the lyrics are some of the best on part 2. I really like when Tom sings about, growing up and, the way that things change. I think he's really good at, saying the things that a lot of people who have grown up with Blink are feeling, that shit just ain't the way that it used to be. But yeah, I like the song a lot. It's one of my favorites from part 2. I don't know if I would say it's my number 1 or not. Maybe I can address that at the end of this video, but it's definitely up there. I do like it a lot. Next song. All right, so from here, we're going to talk about All in My Head. And this was the other song that came out earlier with No Fun. And I do like this song. I think it's a good song. As a guitar player, I hate the super fast rhythm in the beginning. Doing the cover of that song killed my wrist. It was really hard to get it down. And I actually had to do that song in parts just because I couldn't cleanly do that really fast strumming and then go right into like the regular parts of the song or the verse or whatever. That's the only thing I really don't like about it. But I think it's a solid Mark song. It's clearly a Mark song. It definitely just has all the, sort of characteristics that he's known for using. I remember reading in the comments of the video, a lot of people just talking about, like, oh, he said my yed again. like Tom did in I Miss You or whatever, and it's like, yeah, okay. Um, that's all some people care about sometimes or whatever. But I don't know. I think it's a good song. I really don't have a ton to talk about with it. It's a solid track. Again, I think that I'd be cool having this song in my final cut of One More Time. Maybe I'll make that its own video. If I was going to trim the fat and make the album just really solid, like 15 songs or something, what would it be? Yeah, maybe I'll do something like that. I think that could be in there, but we'll see. So let's talk about the next song. Okay, now I want to talk about Can't Go Back. And this song has been kind of out there for a little while because Blink had been playing it on their most recent tour. So you could hear live versions of it for, a few months now. And I had listened to it like, once or twice maybe. And I know a lot of people were freaking out about it, but it didn't really bring me any sort of excitement. And even now in its finished, studio version, I'm still not all that excited about it. It is a cool, lower, slower tempo song. But the whole thing just kind of feels like an interlude to me, or it feels like one long bridge. It's not super exciting. I do like the way the guitar sounds, and I mean, it's not a bad song by any means. I don't dislike it, but I will probably never in my life think, man, I really want to go listen to Can't Go Back. It's just never gonna happen. That being said, I think it's cool, but it doesn't have enough going. There's not enough transitions in the song. There's not enough there's like no real build to anything. It's just the same focus through the whole song, and that can be okay. That can be great. I mean, look at Elevator by Boxcar Racer. That's practically the same thing through the entire song, but it has differences to it, and it has in my opinion, some more interesting lyrics than this one. But I don't know. It's fine, but it's a little forgettable for me. Next song. Okay, now we're going to talk about Every Other Weekend. This one is another one of my preferred songs for Blink. It's no surprise to some of you, I'm sure, that I like this song, because I've always felt that Blink has done the 80s sort of new wave style really well. I always liked it. I think that Blink Wave from the first part of this album is really good. I think that Always is one of their best songs. I really like the Angels and Airwaves song Automatic, a similar sort of thing. And I think this is just a continuation of that. I think that they really do a great job at doing that type of song faithfully. I don't feel like they're putting it on, they're not trying too hard. I feel like they're just they feel like they're doing it comfortably. They're not really having they're I don't know. It feels genuine to me. There's a lot of bands that will try out a new thing, or they'll do a new style or something, and I don't know. I think it just works for them. I do like it. I wish the guitars were a little bit more interesting, but that's just me as a guitar player. The mix on this song is a little busy, but I mean, that's just kind of how it is for this whole album, part 1 and 2. But I do like it. Not much else to say, but yeah, it's a cool song. It's one of quite a few songs on this album that starts with the drum intro, and I feel like at that point it can get a little confusing and be like, okay, what song is this again? I mean, even on this part 2, I think at least half of the songs start with a fairly similar drum beat, and it's like, okay, let's try something a little different, you know. But whatever. It's a cool song. I like it. Would I put it on my final cut? I don't know. Maybe. I'd probably take this song over Blink Wave if I'm being completely honest. So yeah, I would say safe bet. Next song. Okay, we're going to talk about probably, in my opinion, the most unique song on part 2, and that's Everyone Everywhere. It definitely has some Boxcar Racer type vibes with the chord arrangements that Tom is playing, but it also has some really other interesting things going on, especially in the verses, which seem to be more Mark focused. Some people were comparing it to Simple Creatures, and I guess I could see that a little bit. It's like almost like electronica or something. It kind of reminds me of like some of the electronic stuff that they were kind of experimenting with on the like the Fallen Interlude or something like that from, you know, around the self-titled album. But I think it's a cool song. I do like the guitars. I just like the vibe of it in general. I feel like it's them trying something a little bit different, but not something just so weird that it doesn't make sense. You know, it's a good blend of what we know that, you know, they're good with, I guess. Something that we know that they can do well, and, you know, kind of stepping out a little bit. So, I mean, if they kept on this path and kept doing like stuff like Everyone Everywhere, and maybe even like No Fun, whatever, like that sort of stuff, that's the future of Blink that I want personally. I think that would be cool. I don't need songs like Can't Go Back, for example, or, you know, You Don't Know What You've Got, or More Than You Know. Like, some of those songs are just, they're just kind of boring to me personally. They feel like filler. But this song, I think it really has a strong identity, and I think that it's definitely one of those songs that I think would be on my final cut of the album, personally. So let's talk about the next song. Okay, we're going to talk about If You Never Left. This song was kind of a sleeper for me. I guess when I was doing my first listens of these new songs, I was working at the same time, so I was a little distracted, and this song kind of slipped by for me. I didn't really pay too much attention to it. It didn't grab me immediately like Everyone Everywhere did. But after I had covered Everyone Everywhere, a lot of people were asking me, "Oh, you got to do If You Never Left. You got to do that song." And I was like, I need to listen to this song again and see why so many people want me to do it. And then it became obvious. I was like, oh, okay, it's got the riffs in it. I don't know how I missed it. But it's got some fun riffs. It's got, you know, a great back and forth with Mark and Tom. And I don't know. It's just a solid track. It's fun to play on guitar too. And I think it would definitely be on my final cut. The only thing I would say is, you know, the intro. It's another drum intro, and then it's just kind of a slow build again, until it finally gets somewhere with that guitar riff. And, you know, granted, you know, a song like No Fun definitely had a very slow build to it, but it at least felt like anthemic. It felt, you know, bigger and like it was really going somewhere. And at the beginning of this song, it just didn't really feel like it was going anywhere until it eventually does. But I don't know. I'd say that the first like 20, 30 seconds or whatever of the song is skippable in my opinion. But the rest of the song certainly makes up for it. So I can't really complain there. So yeah, good song, fun to play. And now we're going to talk about the next song. Probably my least favorite song. Okay, it's time to talk about One Night Stand. I don't like this song. I think it's really, really bad. I'm sorry. I know a lot of people like it. I know a lot of people expected me to like it. A lot of people are waiting for a cover of this song that just is not going to come. But there's just too much about it that I just really don't like. The guitars are very pedestrian, I guess, in a way you could say. Very, very simple. Very, very repetitive. And I feel like it's just been done too many times. And the whole song, to me, just feels like a Matt Skiba era Blink song. And you guys know I'm just not a huge fan of those albums. I don't know. It really feels like a California song to me. Really, really basic, really bad vocal melodies. I cannot stand the pre-chorus where he just says, "Do I run?" over and over and over again. And then the part where he says, "Ooh, yeah," just over and over again. I don't like that melody. It just feels really forced. I don't like it. I don't know. All that just kind of mixed together just makes for a really unappealing song to me. I will probably never choose to listen to this song on purpose. It's total filler. This would be one of the first ones, if not the first one, that I scrap from the final cut of the album personally. But whatever. If some other people like it, that's fine. I'm not going to try to convince you otherwise, but it is not what I'm into. So let's go to the last song. Okay, last song. This one's called Take Me In. And overall, I think it's a decent song, but if I had any real problems to bring out about this song, I just feel like they were trying too hard to make another song like Childhood. That being said, I do like this song more than Childhood, but I wouldn't want both of them on an album. You know what I mean? I would keep this one and I would boot the other one out. It feels bigger. It feels more emotional. I think the lyrics are a little bit more genuine, and it feels more Blink to me than Childhood did. Childhood feels like it had like some ghostwriters on it or something. I don't know what the writing credits are on that song, but I don't know. It never felt like Blink, and this one at least does more than that one. So it's a good song. Again, not my favorite, but it's big. It's got a lot of ups and downs, highs and lows. So it's very dynamic, and I do like that compared to, say, a song like Can't Go Back, which is very flat like the whole time. But yeah, it's not my favorite, but I would probably keep it just for some variety on the full final album. But I don't know. So overall, I think that part 2 is fun. I do think that they released probably the 2 best songs, or at least 2 of the better songs ahead of time. So when the other 6 came, I was a little let down because realistically, No Fun and All in My Head are good songs. Can't Go Back, I don't love it. Every Other Weekend, I'm a fan, but it's not at the level of like No Fun or say like Anthem Part 3 or some of those other like bigger songs, Turpentine. It's not like that sort of song, Everyone Everywhere I do like. It's a little weird, but I do like that song. If You Never Left, like I said, it's a little slow to start, but it does get somewhere that I really like. One Night Stand, hot garbage. Take Me In, I like it for its variety, and it's better. It's a better ballad, like big like power ballad type thing. This is like late 80s power ballad or something. But yeah, it's all right. It's not quite what I was hoping for overall. But hey, any Blink is better than no Blink, especially with Tom in there. So let me know what you guys think. And if you have any other suggestions for other videos or anything like that, let me know and I will try to accommodate. So thank you for watching. And I'll see you guys, I don't know, eventually, maybe.